friends, welcome back to the channel. I think in yesterday's video we went through my maybe pile. In all reality, that was like a month ago, true story, and I forgot to do the try a chapter tag. Read the first chapter, I just never actually came back and recorded and told you my thoughts and everything like that, so here we are. I actually have added 2 more books to my stack to try a chapter of. I've read both of the first chapters of this, and I cannot stomach reading these books. I'm going to be unhauling these. There's Lockdown by Lori R. King, and This Is Not a Drill by Beck McDowell. This Is Not a Drill. They both involve a school shooting, but This Is Not a Drill involves first graders and a school shooting, and I just, that's legitimately my worst fear as a teacher. What would I do in that situation? And my husband and I actually talk about it. Sorry, I'm about to cry. We've talked about it before, and there was this school shooting in Texas. Not the last one they had, but they had one a few years ago when I was still going to school to be a teacher. And one of the teachers lost her life because I think she was a kindergarten teacher, and she put all of her students in like a cabinet, and she went and she basically guarded it with her life so that none of her students got hurt. And it's like a legitimate fear of mine because I would be that person. I would be that person that would hide my kids somewhere weird, but I would protect them. And like, oh my gosh, like, clearly it makes me emotional. Like, I've read several books about school shootings, and I read some even as like a college student going to school to become a teacher, but I guess it changes when you're actually doing it, when you're actually a teacher. Like, I already have so much anxiety about something like this happening that reading about it does not help my fears at all. Especially This Is Not a Drill follows like a classroom of first graders. I think I legitimately read the first chapter of both of these, and this one, I can't. I'm not going to. I don't think this is a topic I can read about anymore. And you know what? That is okay. So these will be up on Pingo Books soon. But I need a moment. I need a moment to collect myself, and then we can go on with this video. Okay, I'm back. I apologize for crying. It just, I guess, made me super emotional. So I am no longer going to read those kind of books. They really cause something inside of me, and it's just not okay. I don't read to completely like shatter my soul. I mean, that's not true. Sometimes I do, but usually I read for enjoyment, and some of that enjoyment is shattering my soul, but not in that way. That's too real. It's too much for me. So, no more books about school shootings. I have read the first chapter of most of them. They All Fall Down by Roxanne St. Clair. Every girl would die to be on the list. So this is a young adult contemporary in which this like hottest of the hot list or whatever comes out. I've seen this type of book a million times. And going into this, I thought I was going to keep it. But this book actually made me think of a whole new category that's not really keeping, but it's not really getting rid of either. Let me explain. First chapter was good. It started with an intense car accident that I'm not really sure is a real car accident, if you know what I mean. And I am intrigued enough to want to keep reading. However, I do think this is going to be the type of book that maybe I read once and then I'm done. So, because of this book, I started this whole new category called the Unhaul Project, which we've been talking about as we've been going through my shelves. But for this Unhaul Project, I literally have 37 books that I haven't quite lost interest in, but I'm not really sure they're going to be favorites of all time either. I'm kind of just like, if I read it, cool. If I don't, doesn't matter. So, for the remaining 2 months in 2022, and for all of 2023, my goal is to get that to 0, or at least work on that a lot. I mean, my whole goal is to get my TBR to 0, and I know that might be a lengthy process. It might take more than a year with how many books I read and am interested in. Like, in all reality, if I could read every single book in the world, I would. But, you know, that's a whole nother topic. So this is the start of the Unhaul Project books, which is basically this list of books that I own that I'm kind of want to read, but I don't think they're going to be all-time favorites, and we will come back to my Unhaul Project tomorrow, probably, or very, very soon, if not tomorrow. I will tell you more about the Unhaul Project and some of the books on it. Actually, all the books on it. The rest of these books are either being kept or unhauled. There's no in between like that one. So I am behind you by this person. Yep, that guy. I refer to him as Sweden Stephen King because that's what they refer to him as on the back of the book. I don't even think I finished the first full chapter. It's because this isn't even in chapters, really. So, chapter 1 starts on page 3, and chapter 2 starts on page 109. So, I did not read 100 pages of this book. I think I read like 10 pages, and I am no longer interested. It has a cool premise, but I don't think it's for me. It's about 4 different families. In that perspective, I didn't like switching perspectives like that. Although sometimes I do, but not in this book. And you follow them as they're on this camping trip, and they find that the world has changed, and you're trying to figure out what's going on. I kind of thought it was boring. I'm not interested. Then we have The Inheritance of Orquídea Divina by Zordia Cordova. I didn't think I was gonna like this one. It's like an inheritance thriller, haunted house vibes. And you know what? I really, really enjoyed the writing. It's very vivid. It brings me to the scene and I feel like I'm there. So I am intrigued enough to keep this one. Then Sickened by Julie Gregory, The True Story of a Lost Childhood. I can't read this. Much as I think this is going to be an amazing read, and the writing was good, I just can't do that to myself. It's probably an amazing book, and it sounds, honestly, it sounds great. But I can't put myself in that situation. I just can't do it anymore. Like, no, it's about this girl who's like 7 at the beginning of the story. Or she's 12, but she's talking about when she was 7 and she was really, really sick and she's still sick. And so it's about this child who is very, very sick, which I can relate to. Only mom has been making her sick. I think mom has Munchausen's. Is that what it's called? Yeah. And she's making her daughter sick. And like, I just can't. I can't put myself in that mindset. I can't do it. The next book that I read a chapter of was The Perfect Wife by J.P. Delaney. I actually read 2 chapters of this one because I really like J.P. Delaney's writing. Love the writing. However, there's kind of like a sci-fi-y twist in here, and I think I can tell you because it happens literally in chapter 2, where it's like in EA. Ooh, I'm not good with, let's see. Oh, it's a cobot. A cobot is short for a companion robot. This woman died like 4 years ago, and her husband is a doctor, and he created this cobot, a companion robot, and somehow he made his wife come back to life, or at least that's what he says. And it just seems weird. It's too sci-fi-esque for me, not something that I like. So I'm just gonna let this one go too. Now, right now when I say I'm letting them go, literally they're going to my bottom shelf, and that is where they are going to stay until I sell them on Pingo Books or I take them off Pingo Books, but they are going to be unhauled. The next one is The Hunting Wives by Meg Cobb. I, again, did not expect that I was gonna like this one. I mostly got it because of Gabby from Gabby Reads, and I'm glad that I did. I only read 1 page of this one, but let me read that page to you because, like, I'm sold. I have to read this. I keep seeing her face upturned in the pool, her long hair darkened by the water, stringy and tangled and noodling around her neck. Her eyes are closed, her body floating. Her lips are parted just slightly, and it looks as if she's resting, tranquil and at peace. Of course, it wasn't like that at all. Her body was found face down in a puddle of mud-soaked leaves. A shotgun blast had shredded her back. She was slumped down next to the edge of the lake and near the silty shoreline. The lake water is the color of rust, not a sparkling turquoise, but the pool was the first place I saw her. A week later, she was dead. Tell me that did not pull you in immediately. I didn't have to read the first chapter because the prologue was just like, sold, reading this book. I don't even think I finished the first chapter. This is The Sullivan Sisters by Catherine Orsby. I didn't think I would like this because A, it's young adult, not my jam too much anymore. B, it's inheritance thriller, which again is not my jam. And C, you follow like different perspectives, which actually is something that I love. But I just didn't connect to the sisters. I think I made it. Did I finish the first chapter? I doubt it. Oh. Never mind. The first chapter was literally 2 pages. So I read the castle part and then the actual first chapter, and I'm just not intrigued. I don't care about inheritance thrillers, so I only have 1 book left on this chapter tag. There's Witches of Ash and Ruin by E. Latimer, and this one sounds like one that I won't like. It's about witches, there's murder, which that intrigues me, but There's also Witch Hunters, and that also intrigues me. I was trying to be all suspicious and like, or as my kids would say, sus. I was trying to be all sus and be like, try and tell you why I would hate this book. But the first chapter is from Dub. I don't know how to say his name. I think it's Dub. But he's a witch hunter. You get his perspective. And then the next one is Danya. I think that is a witch. I haven't read her perspective yet. But the witch hunter just made me really want to read this. So I will be keeping it. Which I think is great because I only kept 3 books of the 8. That's not bad. Plus I threw in 2 more that I'm unhauling. So I hope you enjoyed this try chapter tag. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you're new around here. And if you've missed any videos in October, I will link the playlist up here. Please go check it out. I've been working on a video every single day in October, and it's a lot of work. It really, really is.